Welcome back, everybody. This is your three-man booth, the final roundtable of the season. Dan Salem, Phil, and Bud, Section 323 podcast. Happy holidays, fellas. Mercifully, our seasons have ended.
Thank God. Thank God. It was exactly. Thank God.
I had to watch that game anymore today. I mean,
It was a sloppy mess, and we barely beat the backups, but we got to win.
backups.
Anyway.
There were third-string guys in there, Dan.
That's true, but we still won it. We'll get it. The Jets and the Giants are not in the playoffs. Yeah, we're going to whoop-de-do it a little bit later. I want to talk playoff predictions real quick to start it off because we made preseason playoff predictions. We picked every member of the playoffs and then the Super Bowl, and I'd like us to revisit it. But let's first pick out an underdog team. If you guys have one underdog that made the playoffs that you actually think could make waves, I mean, I think it was that the last 5 or 6 Super Bowl winners were first round teams with the number one seed. But
I would say I wouldn't sleep on Tennessee. And I say that because they have to play New England in the first round, and New England obviously lost to Miami today. And there's something's wrong with their offense. Tennessee's defense is better than Miami's, and if Derrick Henry continues to play the way that he's playing,
he had 200 yards today.
111 yards today and 3 touchdowns. I mean, Tannehill is a better quarterback than Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Ryan Fitzpatrick had a day today. So yeah. I don't.
All right, so you got the Titans. I like that. We're gonna come back and make our full prediction. Phil, are you on Tennessee's bandwagon? What do you think?
You know, I didn't even consider them until Bud mentioned them. That's actually a good pick. I'll tell you who's not on my list, and that's the Dallas Cowboys.
Right. Okay. All right. You got that.
I had to throw that last jab. I really don't see an underdog coming out of the NFC at all because it's either going to be Philadelphia or Minnesota, right? Those are your. I shouldn't say that. I consider Philadelphia and Minnesota the two bottom portions of the playoffs. I don't see Philadelphia beating either the Niners or the Seahawks. I watched that Giants game today. Yeah, it was close to the end, and the score. When you see the end of the score, that's not really indicative of how it went. The Eagles have a lot of problems. They're not beating either Seattle or San Francisco.
All right, so you're passing on an underdog pick.
I'm passing on for the NFC. I'll take Buffalo in the AFC.
Okay. Oh, you like the Bills? Oh, that's funny. All right, because I was gonna jump on Buffalo's bandwagon. They've been a really good football team.
I don't think you can judge Buffalo by today. I mean,
no.
Well, right.
I mean, Allen played 2 series and then he got taken out, and then they didn't play. I think they didn't play 7 starters today.
Well, I have a hard time not siding with one of the two of you because defense of both those teams are really going to do wonders in the playoffs, and they both got really solid running games. I want to get behind the Eagles and Carson Wentz, but they've been so unimpressive. I just really know better. If I had to pick between one underdog, I'd pick Buffalo over Tennessee just because I think Josh Allen's more dynamic than Tannehill, but I'm not sure that they have a better team because Derrick Henry's better than Frank Gore. So
they went through the injury list during the Giants game today of all the Eagle players, and I think it was something like 10 players missed a combined 117 games. Not to mention they have a stat that Carson Wentz is the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 4,000 yards and not have a single receiver over 500.
But yeah, I don't know. That's almost impossible.
Almost impossible.
So,
but that's just the history of receivers that they had to go through.
I think Buffalo was the healthiest team. If Philadelphia had that many injuries,
they had the least. They said today in the broadcast they had the least amount of injuries of any NFL team all year.
Yeah. Which no wonder they did well. All right, so our underdog picks are all in the AFC. Do you want to revisit the AFC playoffs and see who we had preseason, and then, or do you want to make our who we think is going to do advance for?
I don't think that it really matters. I think this is Baltimore's to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, they smoked Pittsburgh today, and not Ryan Griffin.
Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
played
in most of the game, yeah.
Yeah, RG3 played, and he hadn't played in 3 years, and he looked even good. So I just,
you know what I was thinking with RG3 in the game, if Baltimore wins the Super Bowl, which is not out. They're probably one of the bigger favorites. He'll have had like this tremendous rookie year, the injury, almost out of the league, and then backing up a Super Bowl and maybe getting a ring. That'd be a great 30 for 30 when he retires because of that first season. And then
Speaking of 30 for 30, so Jameis Winston has thrown.
Good segue.
He's the first quarterback in the history of the NFL who's been around for 100 years. Has thrown for over 30 touchdowns and over 30 interceptions in the same year.
Did he set the record for interceptions in a season?
Yeah, they lost today on a pick six.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they finished 7-9, right? Same as the Jets, same as the Falcons. Yeah.
Tampa's going to have a big decision to make on him because he's probably leading the league in passing too. He just can't stop turning the football over.
Well, I don't know if you can possibly trust the quarterback. No matter that he threw 30 touchdowns and probably probably had over 3,000 yards, easy.
Oh, easy.
30 interceptions.
That's incredible.
You can't win. Now he's probably unlikely to do that next season, but
he might be unlikely to play next season.
He might, yeah.
But I mean, it's not like they have it's not like they can. I don't even know who the backup in Tampa is, but you had to stick with Jameis Winston at this point, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you can.
There's a lot of decisions. I mean, I know we're talking playoffs, but Freddie Kitchens just got canned today, so there's going to be a lot of turmoil or a lot of turnover in the next couple of days.
I mean, Eli Manning might be available.
Might be. He will be available.
Nick Foles might be available. I mean, there's quarterbacks out there that are better than Winston. Maybe.
Do you think Nick Foles played himself out of his contract this year?
He absolutely did.
I mean, that's what they give him, Bud. What was that? 84 million? 94?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was I thought it was 4 years and 70-something million. But
we've seen this happen before. Who was the guy for the Patriots that had that one good season when Tom Brady got the knee injury? Matt Castle. We've seen this before.
Got replaced by oh no, that was the guy from Green Bay. I'm thinking the one who got replaced by Russell Wilson.
Oh.
I can't remember his name, but it happens all the time. You have one magical run, which Nick Foles did. You can't take it away from him. He got paid for it, and that was it. It was like the Joe Flacco thing. Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl, got paid, and never remotely came close to living up to that contract.
No. So to segue back, which is this Baltimore. You like the Baltimore in the AFC. I have a hard time disagreeing, but I actually think Kansas City's got a real shot at beating them in the AFC Championship. It's hard for me to – I like Buffalo's chances of upsetting Kansas City, but not Baltimore. And, I mean, I don't know about you two. I think New England gets eliminated next weekend. I think that
so who does New England play?
Buffalo moves on.
Tennessee, okay.
I think that New England gets eliminated, and
God, I hope so. I'm so tired of it.
I think Houston will get eliminated too. I actually like both wildcard teams in the AFC right now.
They didn't even look good. Tom Brady didn't look good at all today.
No.
At all.
Might be available.
So did you hear all the rumors swirling around? So they're probably gonna. So Tish, the owner of the Giants, wants to clean house. Mara doesn't. Okay. But Tish apparently is the one that has the stranglehold on the ownership.
Is that when you say clean house, you mean fire the coaching staff?
Yeah, fire the coaching staff and the GM.
Ah. See, I heard coach. I didn't hear GM yet.
No, he wants to clean house. So, but here's the thing: there's a rumor swirling around that if they clean house, they're going right after Belichick.
Sign me up.
And they want to bring Belichick in.
Bring him home. Come home.
Belichick with Daniel Jones.
Belichick doesn't really have a contract. He just kind of.
It's open-ended?
Yeah, I guess.
That would be a total coup for the Giants to take Belichick.
Well, I don't know if it's a coup. He got his career started in New York.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah. No, I know.
And apparently he's very high on Daniel Jones. He likes Daniel Jones a lot. This is what I heard on the radio today.
If you ever watch that 30 for 30, the two bills, whatever it's called, I mean, Belichick is like that's his next favorite team behind New England is New York.
That means Josh McDaniels gets promoted, right, and is the head coach of the Patriots.
Well, I mean, that's why they kept him there, right? Wasn't there like a hush hush agreement that he was going to be the heir apparent?
Well, isn't that why he didn't leave though? I thought that didn't he go?
Yeah,
he went to Indianapolis and then decided not to go. Right? Isn't that what it was? Right.
decided not to go. Right.
Yeah, you're right. There has to be some sort of backdoor agreement that says when this tenure's done, it's your vote. But it's going to be a clean slate. You're going to have no Brady. You're going to have no anybody.
Well, Brady would be there still if Belichick left.
You think so?
At least one more season for continuity's sake.
Hmm.
Well,
It'd be really interesting if they get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. It could be very, very interesting.
When was the last time the Patriots were bounced out of the first round of the playoffs?
I was telling Dan before you got here, the Patriots haven't played a wild card game since 2010. It's been 10 years they've had a bye.
I think that's when they got bounced by Baltimore, right? Or did they eliminate the Ravens? Ravens won the Super Bowl in 2009. I don't know.
No, because they've made like this crazy number of AFC Championship games in a row too. So
yeah, I don't know if they just said that was their last game played. They didn't say if they won it or not.
So does either of you guys like Baltimore? Anybody but Baltimore in the AFC?
I selfishly I want to see Kansas City win. I just love watching that offense.
Okay.
So I want to see Kansas City win.
Okay. Well, so preseason, we all had the Patriots in the playoffs. But you picked the Browns, the Jaguars, the Chargers, and the Colts. So you had teams.
I was wrong on a couple of those, Dan.
You got the Chargers and Chiefs. I mean, you got the Patriots and Chiefs, but that was the only two right picks.
Congrats.
I got the Patriots, Ravens, Chiefs, and Texans all in there. So I missed on two. I got 4 out of 6, so that wasn't bad. And Phil, you put the Jets, the Steelers, the Colts in, but you had the Chiefs, Patriots, Texans. So those were kind of like the chalk picks. But
I know
I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, and Bud had the Chargers, and I had the Colts, who didn't make the playoffs, either of them. So your Super Bowl picks in play.
I think if Lamar Jackson didn't explode out of his shell, the Chiefs would be the odds-on favorite right now to come out of the AFC easily.
Yeah, well, they've been playing pretty good defense lately, so I agree. They are in good position.
But Baltimore's defense can be had. I mean, the Jets were moving the ball on them on that Thursday night. I mean, they just missed opportunities. I'm not saying the Jets were going to win that game, but they missed opportunities, and you'd have to think that Kansas City's offense is exponentially better than the Jets' offense. So.
The New Jersey PD.
That's here. I'm in Los Angeles. Someone's burglarizing something. Let's move over to the NFC because that's kind of a top-heavy conference. Very exciting. Packers are back. The Seahawks are back. The Vikings are back. And then we got the 49ers, obviously, and the Saints are back. I don't know if I really believe in the Eagles. Nobody else does. So
they're the only team that doesn't have double-digit win. There's no way. I don't know what the spread's going to be because we don't know who they're going to play yet, but they're going to be underdogs at home, and it doesn't matter because they're not winning.
Yeah. I have a hard time picking against the Saints because they were my preseason pick, and they still look just as dominant. I mean, their defense has been a little suspect, but so has every other team. So,
yeah. You have to outscore the Saints. Doesn't matter if the Saints can't play defense. You have to outscore them.
Right.
So San Francisco was like running away with the NFC up until about a month ago, and then they've cooled, and they've definitely given up a lot defensively. Do you guys like 49ers still in the playoffs? What are you thinking?
I do. I like the 49ers a lot, and I think they win tonight. Obviously, we're doing this, and the game is just about to kick off here right now. So, I think they win because they should have beaten Seattle the first time, right? They got unlucky. So I just think that San Francisco's defense is underappreciated. Their offense can clearly keep up with good offenses in the league. They've shown that they can do it. I think that it's either the 49ers or the Saints. I really do. I'm not the Packers are really good, but I'm not sold on the Packers. They were very inconsistent for 2.5 quarters today against the Detroit team that is awful.
It was the same. They played the Vikings. They played the Vikings last Monday night, and they were equally as inconsistent.
Yeah, they have to play the Vikings again, right?
depending on how tonight's game goes.
No, the Vikings are the 6th seed, I think. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, right, because the Packers can still move around, I think.
They'll either be in the 1 or the 4, I guess, or 1 of the 3. So they'll get knocked around there. So we'll see. I think.
Okay. Well, I still think that it's going to be San Francisco or New Orleans.
Yeah, I got a hard time picking in favor of the other teams because of their inconsistent defenses. If Seattle didn't have to bring Marshawn Lynch back, I may be more on the Seahawks bandwagon. But
I wouldn't put it past it. He's ingrained in that system, and Russell Wilson loves him. He trusts him, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little craziness.
Skittles.
I love Skittles.
And maybe this year Pete Carroll won't throw on the 1-yard line. Just a thought.
Yeah. Bill, who do you like? Who's your favorite? Are you?
I don't disagree with. I personally am going with New Orleans. I see the case for San Francisco. I just think that you gotta. New Orleans is just they're kicking the crap out of everybody lately. What they put up today, I didn't even see the final score. I saw it was 35-0. I don't care who they were playing the Carolina Panthers, but I mean they made it look like they were playing backyard football. Alvin Kamara had 2 scores, and Drew Brees is slinging the ball. He's got the most completions, I can't even talk. Completion percentage in the game. He got the most touchdowns. He got the most passing yards. Michael Thomas is on a stupid streak of catches and yards himself. He broke whose thing did he break? I forget.
Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, right. These guys are just they're steamrolling right now.
So I have to point out that you felt obligated. I feel obligated to mention that you left the Saints out of the playoffs preseason, but
he picked the Jets.
Yes, he did.
Well, that was more of a fun pick, but I really thought that the last 2 years of the Saints getting painfully bounced out of the playoffs was just going to be too much to overcome. But clearly, they use that as motivation.
But you and Bud both got 50% because you both liked the Bears and Falcons and those teams and Rams. Those 3 teams burned you this season.
The Bears, the Rams, and the Cowboys not only missed the playoffs, they are all 500 or worse.
None of us put the Cowboys in the playoffs, so I think we should pat ourselves on the back.
Yeah. Who did I put in the NFC East? I must have put Philadelphia in.
Yeah, you had the Eagles. All 3 of us had the Eagles.
Yeah.
I had
old enough to put the Giants in that spot.
So I mean, I missed on the Panthers and Rams, but I got 4. I got the Eagles, Vikings, Saints, and Packers. I had I guess I basically called the NFC North. Otherwise, I was off in the South a bit. But I had the Saints in the Super Bowl, and then you guys had the Bears and Falcons. So we didn't do too well with our Super Bowl predictions, but we'll make fresh ones after the wild card round.
Yeah, did the Falcons end up winning today? I didn't even.
Yeah, they beat. They're 7-9. They beat Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah. They started the season 1-7 and ended the season 6-2.
Same
That's what the Jets did.
Yeah, good segue, Phil.
Yeah, that's true. Good. Yeah, you're right. I actually didn't even put that together, but they were making such a big deal about the Falcons starting 1-7 because Dan Quinn got he didn't get fired. He saved his job, and I guess when you end the season 6-2, you're on a pathway to redeeming your season. But they also had a ton of injuries too. Devonta Freeman was hurt. Julio wasn't Julio this year. Calvin Ridley got hurt, who's going to be excellent, by the way. I really like Calvin Ridley.
That's so funny for you to say because those 3 main storylines are the same storylines of the Jets season. Now, they came from very different places. Or did they last year? They were both pretty bad last year. So,
well, the Falcons were destroyed by injuries last year. What was it? The first game of the season, they lost like 3 of their defensive players, and it was all downhill from there.
So, I think we should talk about the Jets and Giants a little bit. You did segue nicely. The Falcons got like a complete turnaround this season. I'm the optimist, and I'm looking at the Jets season as a whole instead of game by game. And they had the most injuries I've ever seen for the team. I don't know if it was the most in the league this year, but it was
20,
probably
yeah, it was.
top 3.
20 players on IR this year.
They had
Starters.
And we all knew the first half of the season was a lot harder, and the second half of the season was a lot easier.
There's only 22 players as starters. So you're telling me 20 out of the 22 were hurt? Wow.
Yeah.
The entire defense was backups mean,
They started 9 different offensive line combinations, and you figure there's 16 games. That's more than half the games they were switching offensive line combinations to. It was crazy. And the first half of the season was the hardest. The second half of the season was the easiest. Besides losing to the 2 winless teams, the season went pretty good considering the injuries. And you figure a team got to get a month to learn the new offense, even though you'd like them to do that in the offseason.
I think what this comes down to.
I don't hate how it turned out. I guess that's what I'm getting at. I don't hate how it ended, even though it was a mess.
It's not great.
Yeah.
If they hold on to the lead in Buffalo week 1, if they beat Cincinnati, if they show up to Cincinnati, if they show up to Miami, and if Sam doesn't get mono,
that's 5 wins.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not saying that it's 5 wins. It's probably 3 more wins, at least 3 more wins, and you're probably looking at a 5 seed in the
10-6. Yep.
Yeah, you're looking at a 10-6 football team. Here's my problem with it is it still comes down to coaching to me. I'm not buying into this guy, and I know that the owner came out today and said he's still our coach. We're not going to change anything, and they went 6-2, yada yada yada. I get it. Like,
I gotta ask, Bud, is this Adam Gase's thing? Because how many 7-9 seasons did he have in the Dolphins? I mean, like
it's ridiculous
every year.
Like, I watch every snap of this football game. Bell is still a non-factor in this offense. Like, are you proving a point? Are you proving a point that you don't need him? So, but unless somebody wants this $14 million contract, he's going to be here next year.
You know what's interesting?
And figure out how to use him because you're not doing anything.
I wanted to quickly interject because I really liked the commentary by the announcers at the Jets-Bills game earlier today because they were talking about that and Gase trying to get Bell in the offense. I don't think he had an offense that could use Bell at the beginning of the season. And then they said he was using a lot more 2 tight end sets. He always liked 5 offensive linemen. He's been using tight ends a lot more. I don't think he knew how to do an offense for this set of personnel, which is the stupidest thing to think. But they made it all the way into the regular season. And I don't think he had an offense that could use the personnel that he had on his team. And he had to change how he coaches by the end of the season to actually do anything. I don't know what to think of him. I don't know if that's just he's bad as coaching or he's learning on the job because he only ever did it one way before.
They're going to give him 1 more year, and let's be honest. I mean, if he comes out next year, it's the same stuff. I mean, Joe Douglas has a big job on his hands. You know, what do you do with Jamal Adams? Do you trade him? Do you sign him to an extension? He wants to get paid as the highest safety in the league, which, by the way, he deserves it. He is the best safety in the league by far.
They have to keep him. He's the face of the franchise.
100%. What do you do with Bell? How do you regroup and retool this offensive line that is disgustingly awful? You're going to get your big playmakers back on defense that were injured. Cornerback needs help. What do you do with Robbie Anderson? What do you do with Demaryius Thomas? Do you bring him back on a veteran's minimum? Like, what do you?
Yeah. Well, so this is my gut. Unless you have anything to add, Phil, before I give you my gut reaction on that.
No, I'm just curious how you felt about the Jets kicking a field goal on 4th and 1 instead of going for it today.
I think that. Oh, well, real quick, it was downpouring, and I think that they were trying to get any points they can, and he obviously believes more in the kicker than the running game.
Do you think that it was the right move? Sam was.
I don't want to get into that. They won the game. Who cares? They lost.
What I'm saying is, but what I mean is, it comes down to coaching. Like,
yeah. So,
Sam is 6 for 6 on the drive. You're 3rd and 1, and you put him as a wide receiver, and you put Le'Veon Bell as a wild. Everyone knows it's going to be a run. Yeah. You put 11 guys in the box.
Yeah. Here, okay. Buffalo's got one of the best defenses in the league. Let's let the season. We shouldn't talk about this game because it was completely meaningless. I want to go back. You're derailing me. I want to go back to this because I like Joe Douglas and I like Greg Williams. I don't really like Adam Gase after this 1 year. I just don't like his attitude. I don't know why he grew a beard. It doesn't seem to suit him. Like, these are minuscule little things, but it doesn't seem to suit him. That being said, I think Joe Douglas keeps it simple. I think he builds the offensive line. Bell's on the team. He keeps Bell. He re-ups Robbie Anderson, at least on a 1-year prove-it deal. And he extends Jamal Adams probably 1 year guaranteed, 3 years with options. I don't think he screws around. I think he keeps the continuity because they went 6-2, and I think he focuses on the offensive line. I'm not sure it's going to be much razzle dazzle, and that's probably for the best. We saw
Greg Williams impressed me though. Greg Williams' defense played great all year.
Yeah, it was real good.
I mean, with the exception of like I think 2 games. I mean, they played really, really hard. I mean, that New England game that they got smoked. I mean, that was a lot of that was Sam's fault with 5 interceptions. So
now, do we have a top 15 pick? Do you know? We're 7-9. There's a lot of 7-9 teams.
We are locked in at 12, and now that Denver lost, we are 12. If Denver had won, we would have been 11.
I can live with 12. I mean, that's not. I think this is a deep wide receiver draft. I think it's deep at a couple other positions too, so that's a good spot. I want to use that to let Phil hammer on the Giants a little bit because we only got a few. We got some time, but we're running down to the end of the show. And they finished 4-12, which was definitely no step forward. But
before we go to that, I certainly will. I just want to know your thoughts on the Adam Gase burner accounts.
Oh man, I read the whole chain. It was brilliant, and I can't believe he's such an idiot. Like, now if he didn't do that,
I sent it. So my buddy Brian, who lives in Florida, sends it to me and goes, "Can you believe this dipshit?" So I read it, and I send it to the two of you, and I'm like, I cannot believe that he is still employed.
Well, so either that's absolutely him, or someone is doing such a good job of making it seem like it couldn't be anybody else that it's just. I mean, it's his son's name. The time codes are lined up perfectly, and he's just defending things to a fault. I don't know. It's almost too good to be true, but
I just wanted to throw that in there because I didn't want to forget to mention that before we played. But all right, so going on to the Giants, I don't know what we sit. I don't know if we're 3 or 4 or 5. I think we're 3, but I could be wrong. Actually, we might be 4 because I think it goes Cincinnati, Detroit, or Washington, Detroit, whatever the combination is, and then I think the Giants are 4.
Yeah, Cincinnati has 2 wins, but they got number 1.
Yeah. So the after the Cincinnati game last week, I think the announcers, whoever were doing it, said Cincinnati is now officially on the clock. Brilliant broadcasting. So, as I've been saying for weeks and weeks, this is kind of the season we thought we were going to get all along, right? We knew Eli Mann's going to get replaced. We knew that there was a lot of holes on defense. I thought Gettleman, I don't know what his future is, but I think he's done a pretty good job of getting rid of all the high-priced, underachieving players who weren't doing anything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now it's a matter of building it back up. You tore it down, which is fine. Now you got your franchise quarterback, hopefully. Listen, I don't have the final stats for Daniel Jones. I'll get him for next week, but he's got to be leading almost all rookies in touchdowns and passing yards. I'll look for next week, but if you look at the stats, forget about the fumbles because that can be cleaned up. He played very, very, very well this year with no Shepard for a lot of games, no Ingram. Golden Tate was suspended. Barkley wasn't there for 4 weeks. Darius Slayton pops out of nowhere. I mean, I see the trend, and I hope it is trending in the right direction. There's things there to grab onto.
And they had a really bad offensive line, and that's a real tough spot for a rookie. So he did pretty good considering.
If Nate Solder has a job next year, I'm going to lose my mind. I can't take him anymore.
Yeah,
I can't take him. It's Eric Powers 2.0.
You're confident in Gettleman building that offensive line after failing to do so again?
Well, he drafted Will Hernandez, which I liked. All right. Yeah. So I don't know, was the Solder signing his? It may have been, but that was you were reaching for straws at that point because you missed out on everybody else. Yes, the line, obviously the 2 glaring holes are the offensive line and defense, right? I don't know what the number is for the cap. I know they have one of the highest salary cap available this offseason. You better spend every penny of that. And you better bring in a bunch of guys who can play defense, and you better draft well.
Yeah. Well, it's been proven that you can't buy offensive linemen in free agency.
No.
That's almost like no. So we'll do a whole draft show later, but the Giants may have to go offensive line with that high pick if there's somebody there that they can actually get.
And I'm not going to pretend to know who's even out there because.
Oh yeah, I mean I haven't looked either yet, but they got a top 5 pick again, and they've done really well the last 2 years with them. So.
That's what I'm saying. So for everybody who wants to kill Gettleman, all right, maybe some of them are questionable, but he got you your franchise running back, who, by the way, has started the season 100 yards or 1,000 yards back-to-back rushing has never been done by a rookie Giant running back, and he got you hopefully your quarterback for the next 15 years. So if those two pan out, those are home runs.
Yeah. Now those are the picks you're supposed to get. It's really the second and third round picks that.
Well, listen, Darius Slayton, who was picked in the 5th round, I thought it was first by mistake, but Darius Slayton looks really, really good.
So I kind of agree. I think that the Giants should keep their continuity. I don't know, but you were talking about the Bill Belichick move, which kind of trumps everything. If that's actually on the table, you have to do it. So
anybody would fire their coach tomorrow if Bill Belichick's available.
But so then does it come down if Belichick wants to come over? Does he want to become the GM? Does he want to pick his GM?
He's essentially the GM in New England.
Right, but Gettleman would have to cede control or he loses.
Well, if they clean house.
Right.
Yeah.
If they clean house, both jobs are open, right?
I think Belichick already has a relationship with Tisch and Mara from his previous stint. So if they're like, hey, you want to come in and be the all, we'll get rid of these guys tomorrow. I mean, I don't think it's even a negotiable or a debate.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. And so we saw Kitchens get fired, which we all saw coming, but he only got one season. It really is unfortunate.
They got crushed today by Cincinnati.
Yeah, I know.
I'm shocked they even let him on the bus to go home.
Did he get on the bus? Did they let him on the bus?
And Gase is coming back, and I think we heard Dan Quinn's definitely coming back in Atlanta. So there's a few more coaches that are up in the air. We all think Jason Garrett's going to get fired probably before the end of the week. But
it happened tonight.
Could happen tonight.
No, they said they're going to think about it over the week.
Oh, but Jerry Jones better not go back on his word.
He's negotiating a severance package with his son-in-law. Give him time.
All right, that's true. You gotta let him off easy.
Or maybe he'll get to go work up in the front office. They'll say he's getting promoted to assistant GM.
So then the question is, who's out there? Who do they go and get? I don't know.
They're gonna go get a college guy.
What's his face? Wasn't one of the former Jets GMs a commentator this season? Would they want him? I'm blanking. Two GMs ago, not McCagnon, but before him.
Tannenbaum?
Yeah. Isn't he commentating? He might want to come back.
I mean, but he's famous for hiring big name college guys that coming in here and winning Super Bowls, right? He did it with Jimmy Johnson. He did it with Switzer.
Oh, that's coaches, not GM. Sorry, I'm thinking the wrong.
Right, but I mean, he's the GM.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is that they didn't pay Dak, and I don't know if that makes him look smart or dumb right now, but I mean, Dak has one more year to go. Okay, never mind.
Dak's contract is done.
Oh, he's done.
Done.
Well, and I was going to say, the new head coach is going to want to decide whether they want Dak or not. You don't want to force the quarterback on him.
You imagine if they don't re-sign him for whatever? It doesn't have to be the max.
They're going to franchise him. They're going to franchise him.
Hey, Phil.
They're going to re-sign Cooper.
Hey, what if Eli Manning goes to play for the Dallas Cowboys?
That'll never happen.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen.
Right.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
I think Eli's done.
You think so what about Jim Harbaugh? Not Jim Harbaugh in Dallas? Bud, you were floating his name a week or so ago, right? Saying
I want him as the Jets head coach.
Oh, okay.
I would send the Jets plane to Ann Arbor right now and say, come on, what do you want?
Okay.
What do you want?
So before we run out of time, I want to make a note that we had a gentleman's bet that if the Jets finished with a winning record, I would have to go to In-N-Out. Despite me wanting them to have a winning record, I'm happy I don't have to go to In-N-Out. They finished 7-9.
Wait, so who said that they were gonna? I said they were gonna have a winning record.
No. We made it like a gentleman's bet back in October. I said if they did it, I would go do. If they had finished, I would go there and eat there.
So you have to go eat an In-N-Out burger.
No, they didn't.
They didn't finish.
They only finished with 7 victories.
But didn't you pick them to win more games?
I mean, I didn't have them in the play. I think I had them at the wild card. I did, but that wasn't the point of the gentleman's bet. They were like 1-5 at the time. That was the point of the bet.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I gotta go watch a Seattle game.
All right, and we'll get the wild card weekend coming up. This will be a fun postseason, especially if New England gets eliminated.
I hope so.
Thanks for watching Buzz Chop.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Share.
Woo.